Good morning, you all. And I think you all know that you have 6 hour revision day school this time. First 2 hours, it means today's morning we will give some questions for you, and we will do the background. We will study with the background questions. I'll ask the questions, and this should be an interactive session, and you have to answer whatever I ask, and you can unmute and talk with us. And first 1 hour is allocated for me, and the second hour for the Janaki madam. Then we will discuss some questions. Thereafter, you have to write down the answer. And today's evening, again, you have 2 hour day school, 1 hour by me, and another hour by the Janaki madam. Likewise, tomorrow also we are discussing the same thing. Then before coming to the day evening session, you have to write down the answer, and we hope to get your answer and see the answer, how you wrote the answer for that one. Because while we are marking, we notice that you are not giving the answer for the question properly. That is the reason to make this session in different way. We will see. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Then I'll move to the first activity. Then you can't just listen is not enough. You have to get a piece of paper and a pen and write down the relevant information for this question. Get ready with them first. Okay. Then the activity one is the organic compound X in 25 cubic centimeter of aqueous solution was extracted to 75 cubic centimeter of organic solvent using a separatory funnel. After the extraction, the solvent in the organic layer was evaporated and record the weight of X. It was 1.200 gram. The molecular weight of X and the distribution between the two layers are 20 gram per mole molecular weight and 20 distribution coefficient respectively. First one is, then please gather the information whatever you need and think. What are the information you can gather from this question?
Volume of the aqueous layer.
Volume of the aqueous layer, it is 25. That is correct.
Organic layer volume.
Okay. Other than that?
Volume of the organic layer.
Okay. Volume of the organic layer. Organic. Correct.
Distribution coefficient.
Yeah, distribution coefficient. Also know this one is, these are some constant. Other than that, the
Weight of the organic that's extracted from organic layer.
Yeah, here what happens, extracted to organic layer. Then you can get the weight of the X in the organic layer. That is 1.20. Then determine the concentration of X extracted to the organic layer. Then how to find it? You know the weight of the organic layer.
Calculate number of the moles of X in organic layer and divided by volume.
Yeah. Then whether they ask it in moles or the concentration, is there any unit for the concentration here? Just ask. According to the question, you can write down the answer. You are going to convert it to the moles. Are they asking moles per cubic decimeter or something?
No,
No. Then you can give it anyway, ne? Okay. Then what is the concentration of X remaining in the aqueous layer after the extraction? For that you have to what you need? What is the
distribution
concentration? Yeah. Distribution coefficient.
coefficient.
Then if you know the concentrations and you can find out the concentration in the organic layer. What is distribution coefficient? Another person, can you say what is the distribution coefficient? What is the distribution coefficient? Today we have 43 students. What is the distribution coefficient? What does it mean? What is the information we can get from the distribution coefficient? Others? Don't waste the time. Whatever you know, please say, because analytical chemistry, you do not need to memorize anything. Everything you can get easily and do the question paper. Actually, no need to memorize lot of things. Small concepts are there. Then what is KD? At least relationship. KD is equal to
Concentration of organic layer
concentration of organic layer over
over
concentration of
aqueous layer.
aqueous layer. It means the amount of that X extracted to the organic layer, and then this is distribution coefficient. Then if you know the concentration of this one, then you can find out it. That is correct. Then calculate the extraction efficiency as extraction efficiency. How to find it? Q. What does it mean? With the name, no need to memorize the equations, whatever given in your book. If any equation, it means very, very complicated equation is needed, we will give the equation and ask you to define the terms usually. But if the thing you have to think is very small, we are not giving the equation. From the definition, what is the extraction efficiency? What does it mean? Extraction efficiency as a percentage. Where it extract, then based on that you can say how to find it. What does it mean if something is extract efficiency? What does it mean? By looking at that, what you can say?
Percentage of solute extracted.
Sorry? I didn't catch it.
Percentage of solute. Percentage of solute.
Yeah,
extracted
percentage
to
of
the.
our X compound for what? Where we extract to
To the
where?
organic,
Sorry?
organic layer.
Organic layer. Then you have to find out for the initial amount, how much amount extracted to the organic layer, and you have to present it as an with the percentage, that is extraction efficiency. Now I am not writing everything. We will discuss the answers, we will discuss in the evening. Then you have to write down the answers clearly. I hope to get at least 2 of your answers to the Zoom and discuss the things. So you have to ready with the answer in the evening and suggest a method to increase it. How to increase the extraction efficiency? What are the ways we can increase the extraction efficiency?
Doing multiple extraction.
Doing multiple extraction. Then you have to suggest a method. That is multiple extraction is correct. Based on this activity, you have to say how to do it. How to do it. Wording is not enough.
You extract using organic solvent, portion of volume,
Yeah, portion of volume. Then
like
again you have
3
to
portion
suggest
of
what is the
25
portion.
milliliters.
Yeah, then that is correct. Then you have to suggest, you have to use organic solvent in at least 3 times, for the good extraction. Then you can say we can do it by getting 25 cubic centimeter of organic solvent, and likewise you have to develop the answer. I think you get what you want to do by today's evening. Then this is the information what I extracted from this, and also the techniques usually you know how to follow it, and I am not discussing it here. Then we will move to the activity number 2. First activity is based on the extraction, and also other than that you should know how the equations related to the multiple extraction and how to apply that one, and better to go through the last year equation and try to answer that as well. And the activity number 2, it is based on the chromatography. Then can anyone read the question? And gather the information. Activity number 2. No one?
Following 3 compounds were separated by thin layer chromatography using silica as the stationary phase and hexane to methanol 2:1 as the mobile phase. The retardation factors RF of 3 compounds are 1.0, 0.282 and 0.70.
Then there are,
First one,
yeah, go to the,
identify the 3 compounds with their retention factor. Justify your answer.
okay. Then we will go to the first question, and first we will think what is the chromatography they apply and what is the silica. What is our stationary phase? Hansi, don't say it. Another person. What is our stationary phase?
Silica.
Silica. Silica. Is it polar or non-polar?
Polar.
Polar. Then methanol and hexane, then what is our mobile phase? Methanol and hexane. Then compared to the silica, what happens to our mobile phase? Silica is polar. Then compared to silica, mobile phase is
Non-polar.
non-polar. Even though the methanol is there, silica is polar, then our mobile phase is non-polar. Then what is RF retardation factor from the organic one? You know that one. What is RF? If you get a silica plate and you calculated the RF value, what is RF? You calculated during the level for organic compound chemistry, practical. What is RF value?
The distance traveled by sample over distance traveled by the mobile phase.
Yeah,
Solvent.
distance traveled by the solvent volume. Yeah, you have to get the distance traveled by, our compound is this one. Then you have to get the distance from here to here and divide it by the distance traveled by the solvent. I think you got the answer. Then using these retardation factors, RF values, you have to identify P, Q, and R. Then basically you should know which compound is polar, then relatively non-polar. P, Q, R are our compounds. Then what is the polar one? P, Q, O, R?
Q.
Polarity order? Less polar, what is less polar?
P.
E.
P. Then
R.
why? This is aldehyde, then alcohol, thereafter
Q.
Carboxylic.
then you know the polarity order. And also you know our stationary phase is polar. Then which compounds would like to retain on the stationary phase more? P or Q? Which compound like to retain on the stationary phase?
Q.
Q. Q is polar. Our stationary phase is also polar. Then it should like to retain on the stationary phase. Then you can identify which gives the retardation factor 1 for which compound. And 2, 8, 2 and 0.7. Then 0.7 is relevant to which one? 0.7 means the RF values means distance traveled by our compound. It is very less which compound?
Q.
Q. Then 0.7. Then you can develop the answer. I am going to say the answer. Then you have to write down the correct answer for that question. Then according to the RF values, one compound travel with the solvent. Did you see it? One compound travel with the solvent. Did you see that compound?
Yes, madam.
Yes. That is, if it is
Hmm.
equal to 1 means it travel with the solvent. Then suggest a method to overcome this problem using the same stationary phase. We have the same stationary phase. We can't change it. Then they ask, suggest a method to overcome this. What you can do? What is the reason to travel it with the solvent?
Maybe mobile phase too much polar.
Yeah, mobile phase is too much polar. Then how suggest a method to overcome this problem?
By changing hexane to methanol ratio, decreasing polarity of the mobile phase.
Yeah, decrease the polarity of mobile phase. I think others, did you get the answer? If the polarity is high, that compound goes with the solvent. If we can reduce the polarity, then we can get a lesser RF value than the one. Okay. Then you have to write the answer this one as well. I want to monitor what you are writing. Even though we discussed this, what is writing in your book, I have to notice. Then if you used column chromatography using the same stationary phase and the same mobile phase, which compound will elute first from the column? You have a column with the same, this is TLC, thin layer chromatography. Then in a column chromatography, which one elute first? Can anyone explain it? What happens? Do you know what is column chromatography? Do you know what is column chromatography? What is column chromatography? You have to use a column with the stationary phase and we are introducing our mobile phase from the top. We call this process as elution, and we collect the eluent here and introduce our thing here. Sample also here. Then you can see the separate bands according to their polarity. Then which compound will elute first? Which comes first? You polar or
Either
non-polar one?
non-polar one.
Yeah. Then what can you say? What is the reason?
Stationary, same stationary phase mean silica stationary phase, it is polar.
Yeah.
Then polar compound more interact with the
Station.
stationary phase. Retention time is high, most polar one, least polar one elute first.
Yeah, that is correct. Then the answer is, you can write the answer. Then other than that, do you have anything to ask from the chromatography? Then we will move to the next question. Another question from the chromatography. Once you see a chromatogram, don't be afraid. Okay, once you see any picture, don't be afraid. You can you can do the question easily. Don't be afraid and skip that question. First read the things, what is given, and develop your answer. The amount of no. Another one can read the question. Another student. We have 45. Please read the question. The amount of,
The amount of
yeah,
eugenol present in an oil sample A was determined by the gas chromatography. The peak areas obtained for the standard solution of 2.00 ppm. Eugenol and the sample A are 60.0 and 20.0 arbitrary units respectively. The chromatogram obtained for the oil sample is given below.
then what is the first question?
Find the retention factor of eugenol. Assume dead time is 1.0 minutes.
Then what is dead time? I am asking from all, not the student who read the question. What is dead time? Dead time. No meaning. Dead time. What does it mean? For the chromatography, dead time is we can't get any relevant information about the compound, but it is dead time. Then what is that?
The time taken by mobile phase
And the,
to reach the detector.
sorry,
The time taken by the mobile phase to reach the detector.
is that only the answer? Yeah, one is sorry, the time taken to the taken by the mobile phase to reach to the detector. Then other than that, what happens to the unretained particles to the stationary phase? They, are they stay the stationary phase? No. Then how? At what time they are coming? They are also coming with the same time with the solvent. So the dead time is relevant to the time taken to reach the solvent as well as the unretained compounds reach to the detector. Okay. Then you know what is dead time. It is given. Then what is retention factor? What is the equation to calculate the retention factor? Retention factor equation. You can see the book and tell me the answer. What is retention factor? Equation. Before writing the answer for the retention factor of the eugenol, you should know what is retention factor. Equation?
Madam,
Yeah.
retention factor and capacity factor, are they same?
No. Sorry. Yeah. Capacity factor. What is capacity factor?
Adjusted retain time of the
Sorry.
interested compound over dead time
K
equals T dash R over TM.
TM.
minus T M over
TM.
T. Capacity factor. In your book, it is capacity factor. Okay. Then how to calculate this one? What is the information that you know? The time TM, the time taken by the mobile phase, which is relevant to 1. And you have to get the T dash R. What is T dash R? This retention factor means the time taken to retain in the column factor is defined, then that is capacity factor. Okay, then you have to select the peak relevant to the eugenol and you have to get the time from start to the here. Then you can get this answer as 26.0 from the graph, and also we gave the marks in between stars which is close to that one. It is okay, whatever you read from the paper we will give the mark. Then you can do the calculation to find out the retention factor. Okay. Then find the concentration of eugenol present in the sample. How to find it? What is the relationship concentration and the given information here? What we obtain from the chromatography here? What information that we have relevant to the eugenol? From the chromatography, it gives peak area. Sometimes
Peak area.
chromatography we consider peak area, sometimes the peak height. Both are proportional to what? Peak area concentration. Then you have two values. One is for the standard solution of eugenol 2 ppm, that is 60, and then for the sample also you have. Then using these two, you can get the concentration of eugenol present in the sample. Then the last one is briefly explain how you can qualitatively confirm this unknown oil sample is cinnamon oil. Then quantitatively you can give the amount that present. Qualitatively, how you can say whether this sample is cinnamon oil? You know this is commercially available. Usually what we are doing is we are getting then I have to give the answer and unknown sample we run and get the chromatogram and compare with someone. Then someone, what is someone? Qualitatively compare. The peaks are same or not. Then what is someone we can use?
Standard
Standard.
solution.
Sorry? We are getting the chromatogram relevant to the unknown one and we compared it with the standard, but here for the qualitative analysis, we are not saying that one standard sample, we call it as authentic sample. It means pure one, authentic sample. Then we are getting this chromatogram and we are getting authentic sample and see these peaks are coming at the same places. If it is so, then we can say it is our eugenol. The eugenol, sorry, cinnamon oil authentic sample you have to get and get the chromatogram and compare it. That is the way how to do it. Then you have to briefly explain. If you gather what is going to do here, then you can develop the answer for that one. Get it? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Then please write the answer by the evening. Okay. Then this is relevant to the extraction methods things, and these 3 questions we hope to discuss in the evening again. And also if you have any doubts related to this unit, you can clarify during that 1 hour. Okay. Then we will move to the activity number 4. Other than that, you should know what is alpha, what is the resolution, and a lot of informations are there. But we are going to monitor whether you are writing it correct way, and while you are writing the answer, see what are the other calculations that I can do. Likewise, you have to think. Okay. Then we will move to the activity number 4. Then another student can read this answer, and while she or he is reading, you have to write down all the information. Student A, determine the concentration of total iron Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus in an effluent using a UV visible spectrometer. After complexing it with 110 phenolphthalein, these things are very new to you. Actually, what is the information given in this question, sometimes it is new to you. Then don't worry about actually what is going on inside that and think a lot. Just see what are the information given to you, and the thing you learned during the analytical chemistry is more than enough to develop the answer for this one. The balanced chemical equation is given below. You have a mixture of Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus, and you have to do the titration to determine the concentration of this one. So here now UV visible spectrometer, not a titration, then phenolphthalein and the Fe2 plus. Equation is given 1:3 ratio. First, what he did. Then another student, the information is that one. Then now you have to gather the information. Please read the answer. No one? We have 7 activities and within another 25 minutes I have to complete. He transferred. No one? Hansi.
First, he transferred 10.00 cubic centimeter of effluent sample into the 100 cubic centimeter volumetric flask containing 10.00 cubic centimeter of hydroxyl hydrochloride. Next, he added 10.00 cubic centimeter complexing agent 110 penentrolene and dilute up to the mark. Similarly, he repeated this for the 10.00 cubic centimeter of 5.00 ppm of Fe2 plus standard solution. After he adjusts the instrument to 0 and 508 nanometer using the blank solution and measured the sample and standard absorbance using 1.0 centimeter glass cell. The absorbance of the sample and standard were 0.310 and 0.1620 respectively.
Then sample and the absorbance of sample and the 5 ppm is given. Then while you are writing the answer, the thing you have to notice is all the time think whether the sample volume and the concentration volume is same. Are they same here?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Effluent sample 10, sample in same way. Then it is CC. Otherwise, you have to think other lot of things. Okay. Then for 100 volumetric flask, we add this and do the things. Same thing we repeated. Okay. Then I think I missed the question part of this one. No? Then you have to write down here the things are you have to find out the concentration of the unknown sample. Then how to do that one? How to do that one? Concentration of unknown sample. If you know the known sample, then you know what is the relationship between the concentration and the absorbance. What is the relationship?
Beer-Lambert law.
Yeah. Then according to the Beer-Lambert law, what is Beer-Lambert law? A is equal to epsilon Cl. Yeah. Then you know absorbance is proportional to the concentration. And you know the absorbance for the standard and the thing. And other than there are 4 questions and I'll upload this presentation in the morning to the LMS. Then you have to develop the answer for the other set of questions. Then the activity number 5 is another way. Student B, another student, same thing he did using a titration. The student B decided to determine the concentration of 110 phenolphthalein used by the student A. Because he decided to find out the concentration of phenolphthalein. Then what he performed? He did the photometric titration. He performed a photometric titration at this time. And the concentration of standard solution is given is 0.2 millimeter. Then please read the answer and gather the information. Same equation is going on here, but he did it using the photometric titration. Using the known concentration of Fe2 plus 20 cubic centimeter added to the 20 cubic centimeter of here. It's very normal titration is there. 20 cubic centimeter phenolphthalein in a beaker, and he added this one and obtained the endpoint here. Then please take certain minutes and read the get the relevant information for the activity number 5. Then briefly explain the expected titration curve for the above titration. If it is a titration curve, then you have to think what are the two axes, x and y. What are they? You have to select the axes. What is x and what is y? What is x-axis?
Volume of Fe2
Volume
plus
of? Volume
Fe2
of
plus
what? Sorry?
Fe2 plus
Fe2 plus. What we are adding from the burette, we are adding that one from the burette and record something. And what is the unit? If the unit is no given, then you have to write the unit as well. Then for the y-axis, what we are measuring in photometric titration?
absorbance.
Absorbance. Then you have to think what is the equation Fe2 plus and the phenanthroline form a 2 times form a complex. The equation is given in the previous one. 3 times phenanthroline. Then at the beginning what we have? At the beginning what we have? In the beaker.
Phenanthroline.
Phenanthroline. Then you should know whether it is colored or not. Phenanthroline.
Colorless.
Colorless. Then you have a colorless solution. And you are adding what from the burette, that is Fe2 plus. Then with the addition of that one, what will happen?
Phenanthroline will complex with Fe2
Sorry?
plus and phenanthroline complex with Fe2 plus.
Yeah. Then what is the color of that one?
Yellow, green.
You have to find that one as well. Then it forms a colored solution. Then it should form a color. If we are measuring the absorbance, it should form. Then it is given as 508. Then you can guess what is color, or just look at this and get the color. Then say what is happening for the titration curve.
Initially, absorbance is low.
Yeah. With the addition of Fe2 plus.
Absorbance is gradually increase.
Gradually increase. Then after the endpoint.
Absorbance is get constant value because there are no more phenanthroline to complex with Fe2 plus.
Fe2 plus. But the addition of, then you can see this kind of graph. Then you know in the absorbance also we are getting a curve like, then you can extrapolate these two and get the relevant information. Then you have to mark the endpoint. If it is says to explain the expected titration curve, no need to draw the titration curve, but some students are not writing whatever the information, they just try make the draft. That is not enough. If it is says briefly explain, you have to explain what is happening as well. The curve is not enough. If it says stretch the expected titration curve, stretch the expected titration curve, then the titration curve is more than enough. If it is says briefly explain, then you have to explain the titration curve. Then determine the concentration of 110 phenanthroline in ppm. The molar mass is given. Then you know what is the volume of the endpoint. Then you can find out the number of moles of Fe2 plus consumed for this titration. Then how to find out that one? You can find the number of Fe2 plus consumed, and then by getting the relationship 1 to, what is the relationship? Iron to phenolphthalein ratio, what is the molar ratio?
1 to 3.
1 to 3. That from that information you can find out the amount of the phenolphthalein that react with that. Then you can find out the concentration of phenolphthalein in moles. Then you can go to the also millimoles. You can calculate the concentration. Thereafter you can go for the ppm. What is ppm? What does it mean, ppm? How to write down the answer? What is the unit? Parts per million. Then you have to give the answer with milligram
Per liter.
per liter. Then you have to do the calculation by your own. Then the last one is when adding the complexing agent. Then you know for the conductivity metric titration, same thing we ask for the CAT exam. When we are adding the thing from the burette, the total volume will change. Then what happens to the conductivity? Likewise, we ask some questions. And same thing is happening here as well. Anything is depend on the concentration. If the volume changes affect to the readings. Then here, what is our measurement? Absorbance. Is it depend on the concentration? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Yes. If something is depend on the concentration, and if we change the volume, what happened to the concentration? If we dilute it, what happens?
Concentration will decrease.
It reduces the concentration. That is correct. Therefore, we have to do something to overcome this one. To plot the titration curve. Then what we have to do?
Doing volume correction.
Then we can do the volume correction. Then how to do the volume correction?
Initial volume plus volume of titration divided by initial volume.
Initial and volume of the titrant divide by V initial. Then you have to multiply the each and every absorbance reading by this factor. Whatever we expected is in the total volume. The absorbance is given for the total volume. Therefore, we should convert into the initial volume. Therefore, you have to multiply this by this factor. Then you can get a little bit higher absorbance value due to this volume correction. Okay. Then I think you can write down the answer for this one.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah.
Can we tell also using concentrated titrant solution because we can negligible titrant volume?
But this is a photometric titration. Then
Okay.
Then we have to think that we are adding a large concentration from the ionic, but the amount is less than, then it will be okay compared to that one. But usually what we are doing is the volume control. Yeah, you can do that one as well.
Thank
High
you, madam.
concentration thing, but the thing is colored compounds, then we have to look at that one as well. During the titration, sometimes it is difficult. Here and phenolphthalein is okay, but if you have a colored compound, then it is difficult to see the meniscus and everything. You can do that one as well. It's okay.
Thank you,
You can
madam.
increase the burette concentration, or you can dilute that one, but the dilution is, we have to think what happens to the absorbance likewise. That absorbance limit we have to think, no? It should be within that range. If we dilute it and do the volume correction, we have getting small concentration, small absorbance, then it can deviate from the Beer-Lambert law sometimes.
Got it, madam. Thank you, madam.
Then the activity number 7. Last one. The sample solution having a trace amount of MD, strong electrolyte, was analyzed using UV visible spectroscopy. The standard solution was prepared by adding 20 cubic centimeter of sample to 10 milliliter of 25 millimeter of solution and making the total volume to 100. Then what kind of thing is going on? We have a sample and the standard together. Then what we call? What is the name we are saying to that kind of solution? Standard solution. Standard solution is prepared by adding the sample 20 and the standard solution 10. Then what kind of thing is happening here? We have together standard and the sample, we call a name for that kind of solution. What is that one? What is that method? Standard addition method.
Standard addition.
That is correct. The solution, sample solution was prepared by using the sample solution, that is standard addition solution, and the sample solution is prepared by using same amount, here 20 and here 20, and diluted to 100 milliliter. The absorbance at 520 nanometer for both samples and the standard at same concentrations. And the absorbance for the standard solution is 0.3 and the sample was 0.50. What is the reason for adding sample solution to standard solution? What is the reason to do a standard addition, to apply a standard addition thing? What is the reason?
To match the matrix of the sample to that of
To match
standard
the
solution.
matrix of the sample, and also we can say to minimize the matrix effect, and likewise you can develop the answer. Then calculate the concentration of MD in the sample. Then try to do that one. How to calculate? First, absorbance is relevant to what? You have to think. A is equal to, from the Beer-Lambert law, you know what is A? Is equal to
Epsilon Ca.
epsilon Ca. For the first solution, for the standard added solution, absorbance is relevant to standard added solution. Just write everything I'll write. Epsilon. How to find out the concentration? You can assume that the sample, the here ppm unit is given, then you can say the sample concentration as X ppm or something. Then can anyone say what is the concentration of the standard addition solution?
Cx Vx plus
Now, based on the XPPM and the things given here, develop the answer.
X into 10 milliliter.
X into what
Sorry,
is the
madam.
volume of the sample?
20 milli.
20. Excellent. You have to write down the units as well. While you are writing the answer, then I will see what is whatever you wrote. And here milliliter. I am not writing everything. It is not easy. Then in 1000 milliliter XPPM of our standard. And for the standard
25 into
5 milligram in 1000. And you have to multiply it by the volume of 25 solution 10. Then you diluted this one to certain amount. What is that one? It is
100 milliliter.
100. For 100, this much of milligram, and you have to again multiply it by 1000 to get the correct concentration of this solution. Then you can cancel out the 1000 to 1000 and the whatever the things, and you can get the answer. And another student can think, even without doing any calculation, what is the answer for this one? Can you say it? But we are not expecting that kind of thing. We have same sample volume. And for this sample, we have the absorbance. And what is the gap between these two? It is 0.050. What is this one? It is relevant to this 25 cubic meter, 10 milliliter. Likewise, you have to think the gap and get the answer, but we are expecting the analytically what is the answer for this one based on the theory. Okay. Then that is enough. I think Janaki madam is there. Yeah. Janaki madam. Madam. Yeah. Then until...
Hello, Kumudika.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah, you can take if you need more time.
No, madam, I completed the whatever I want to discuss with
All
them.
right.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, Kumudika.
Madam, I'll give you the co-host.
Co-host facility, yes.